Born on October 14, 1993 in Wellington, New Zealand, Ardie Savea is a force of nature. The Kiwi is a prominent rugby player who was named Player of the Year in Paris last month and is well known for his abilities as a loose forward. We've seen him perform in both the Wellington Lions in domestic rugby and the Hurricanes in Super Rugby. But while Ardie has had several remarkable feats on the field, some of his plays stand out, which is why in today's video, we'll be taking a look at the very best of Ardie Savea. So sit back and grab some popcorn, you'll need it. Let's start with one of his recent games. Last month, Savea and his teams had to face the Irish national team in a test match that was held in Paris. It was the World Cup quarterfinals, and it's safe to say that the All Blacks made their friends in Ireland go back home disappointed. It was a 28-24 win, and our man was responsible for one of the 3 tries. He played so well that the former Springboks captain Bobby Skinstad had to make a comment. After watching the remarkable show of talent from the front seat, Bobby praised the All Blacks number 8 for his feat. Even before he was given the official award, it was already clear that Savea was the man of the match. Bobby called it the best performance he had seen from a number 8. Sure, Ireland had done a good job holding their opponents off at Stade de France, but their strong defense wasn't enough. Bobby mentioned how Sexton and the team's forwards owned the field and gave the Kiwis a tough time. But as fate would have it, the Ireland team found themselves in the same spot they were 4 years ago when they were stopped during the quarterfinals in Yokohama. Unfortunately, the Irish have never gotten a chance to excel at the semi-finals. After Bobby's commentary, Ardie Savea expressed his gratitude and told the former Springbok skipper that he was grateful for the gesture. But what really went down that day? We don't have a very clear picture yet, so let's see. Savea led the All Blacks in their attack against Ireland. With his tactics, he was able to make 15 runs. Impressive, right? This guy even gave an incredible kick from a ruck in his zone during the first half. At this point, his opponents were already sweating, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate it. When asked how he knew the right moves to make at the right time, Ardie Savea said that sometimes things just happen and his instincts kick in. He described rugby as a game filled with spontaneity and that his killer kick was nothing special. As a kid, he played as a first 5, and I think that has gone a long way to make him who he is today. If you're new to the rugby scene, don't ever think of Ireland as a small team that easily gets their ass whooped. Even the captain of the All Blacks team, Sam Cane, said that they knew the opposition would be difficult to handle. His teammates would face one of the world's top-ranked teams, so they had to be ready. Before the match, the All Blacks weren't very chatty. It was obvious that every one of them was pretty focused. Just like Sam Cane had guessed, the Ireland team fired everything they had at the Kiwis. I mean, do you know that Cane and his open-side flanker Savea made over 27 tackles? Savea had to do most of the dirty work as he kept bumping into heavy bodies on the field. There were a lot of collisions that day. On the other hand, the captain had the ball in his hand and made some good plays. If you weren't paying a lot of attention, you wouldn't notice the blindside flanker Shannon Frizzell in the mix. He was a bit quiet, but that's his tactic. This man made 9 tackles and, alongside Cane and Savea, crushed Ireland's defense. They dealt with their pals on the other side. Peter O'Mahony and Caelan Doris had a really tough time handling those 3. Ireland couldn't attack off turnover ball, and their ace, Johnny Sexton, couldn't improve their chances. The All Blacks cornered him and erased any possibility of an A game. Everyone has their idols. For Savea, Joe Roko Oku and Ma'anonu were the best he had seen. They had a way of scoring tries, and he decided to follow in their footsteps. He made one of the All Blacks 3 5-pointers while freely diving near the corner flag, and this all happened in the first half. The crazy part is that during the game's final minutes, Savea was the only one from the original back row still in the field. Ireland had managed to get 37 phases, and Cane had been substituted. Even Frizzell had to watch from the sidelines, but Savea was still up and running. Thankfully, the All Blacks were able to keep their opponents away without having to deal with a penalty. Sam Whitelock was one of the substitutes that saved the day. He actually won the ruck penalty while his teammates were doing their best to defend the All Blacks line. As expected, during the final minutes of the game, Savea was pretty exhausted, and he said that the memory of those final moments was real fuzzy in his head. But I guess he was fully conscious during the win because he was one of those who screamed and celebrated when the game was finally over. They say that we win some, we lose some. For Ardie Savea, the heartbreaking loss was on the global stage when he and the All Blacks were playing against the South African national team. But even after his team's 12-11 defeat to South Africa during the finals, the legend was still deemed worthy of the title of World Rugby Player of the Year. And it was well deserved. His performance throughout the entire tournament was nothing short of remarkable. The New Zealander showed great leadership when the team needed it the most. Just take a look at the pattern of play. In all the 7 games that New Zealand was involved in, Savea started all except one, leading his team to a record 20th rugby championship. Savea accepted the loss, but made it clear that losing the final only motivated him to do more and prepare for the next Rugby World Cup in 2027. What a great sportsman. No bitterness or hate, just love and optimism. The loss to South Africa marks Savea's second defeat on the global stage, as his team also got defeated in 2019. Nevertheless, the match with South Africa was one of his best. Just look at the score margin. It was 12-11. If they were given a little more time, who knows what might have happened. But even after his defeat, the 30-year-old beat other contenders like France captain Antoine Dupont, Ireland centre Bundee Aki, and Springboks lock Eben Etzebeth to win the Player of the Year award. The last time someone in New Zealand won the award was in 2017. You might not remember Beauden Barrett, but he was pretty great. During an interview after the match, Savea said, "We lost last night and that really hurt, so it's nice to have something positive." There's also an award for the World Cup Team of the Year, and guess who made the team? Ardie Savea. 3 of his fellows were also listed for the award. New Zealand secured its place at the top of world rugby. Despite the individual recognition, Savea talked about the essence of team trophies. He said there would be no him without the rest of the team. One of the other nominees for Player of the Year and Etzebeth acknowledged this and praised Savea for his exceptional year. Up next is another tale of the showstopper, but I'll make this one brief. In 2017, our man played with the Hurricanes, a New Zealand professional rugby team, and was pivotal to several of their wins, one of which was against the Sunwolves. The Hurricanes put on a strong display as they defeated the Sunwolves 83-17, scoring their most points ever in the process. Ardie Savea was essential in helping the Hurricanes score their attacking goals. Savea showed off his test-level ability in the first few minutes, scoring a try following a deft box chip kick by TJ Perenara. Savea kept up his impressive play, scoring another try by dodging Sunwolves tackles. The Hurricanes' aggressive onslaught eventually overcame the Sunwolves despite a brief fight back. So that's it, a little recap of some of Ardie Savea's best games. We'll be watching as he leaves his mark on the rugby world. What do you think the next chapter of his career will look like? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.